that shaped my concept of success. I mean, is 4-year-old Katie just disappointedly sulking in the back of my brain because I'm never gonna be a princess?
Oh, that's definitely true for me. Except 4-year-old Daniel and sulking at not being a charming yellow fish buddy.
You aspire to be Flounder?
Me too. Also with the 4-year-old Daniel. He was sulking because 4-year-old Michael was hucking frogs at him.
Are we talking about frogs?
Close. We're talking about how Disney made adulthood seem like it was all about royalty and fancy parties, but then when you actually... Oh, that's exactly what your life is like, isn't it?
Did you marry a princess?
Princess of my heart. Also Palau. It's this little island out. Oh my god. I just realized that not every kid grows up like me. Most of them grow up like all of you. Could you even imagine?
Yes!
No, could you imagine being a person like you in a Disney movie?
Okay, just some ground rules before we get started. First of all, it has to be an actual kingdom. So 1920s New Orleans can't win by a country mile.
Ugh. All those sitting Disney leaders obsessing over their heirs, that is Bush League kingdoming. Just ask Henry VIII, am I right?
Probably. Second of all, you'd have to be you in that kingdom, or whatever version of you makes sense for that era and the environment. So if you pick King Triton's Kingdom, you would be the fish version of you.
You could be Flounder.
That's sweet of you to say. That is the dream. But if I were actually an equivalent version of myself living in Little Mermaid's universe, I would be one of those wonky little goblin grabbers from Ursula's lair.
Yeah, that's the thing I always wondered about Triton's Kingdom. I mean, Ursula's lair is packed. Why are there so many people visiting an underwater crack den? The existence of that lair proves that there is a huge market of mer people who hate their lives and will make a deal with the devil to change it.
I think they're all just idiots. If you really want to better your lot in life, just let Prince Eric scoop you out of the sea and serve you on a platter to his buddies. Hey, I thought I was disagreeing, but I was agreeing.
Maybe this rash of magical contracts is linked to how Triton treats the working class. I mean, they literally serve Ariel subjects to her at her wedding. How can there not be political consequences for that?
Gaff. Total gaff.
Is Little Mermaid 2 about the ensuing rebellion?
It's not. Actually, the sequel is about...
Little Mermaid 3, Rise of the Merfolk.
Oh, no, but actually, you'd really find this interesting.
How about
If-
Agrabah? The weather's always nice, plus they have a market that's fully stocked at all times, including with fresh fish somehow.
Yeah, but the shopkeepers are empowered to cut off your hands if they catch you stealing.
Oh, that's just for stealing apples. The sentence for stealing bread is public execution. True story. Complaints made Disney change the lyric to the original opening theme song, even though it was actually more accurate.
They cut off your ear if they don't like your face.
For the movie. I know that's not how things actually are in the Middle East.
Yeah, it's not just the law either, it's the whole community. Remember when that prince kicks those starving homeless kids down in the mud and everyone just laughs?
Yeah, Agrabahnians are really down on orphans.
I blame parents except he hasn't got 'em.
It's there, not orphans of No, that joke doesn't work when you say it out loud. Written, though, it works. Phonetically, it goes into sort of... See,
This
is why...
son's pretty checked out. I mean, he gets literally distracted anytime anything wanders into his field of view.
Plus he leaves the throne to a commoner.
That's actually a good point. I mean, the only qualified leader in Agrabah gets hurled into space. Their biggest problem's poverty, yet Queen Jasmine doesn't even understand how money works. Alright, so Agrabah's out. Obviously, who even suggested Agrabah? How about Agrabah? So how about Cinderella? As long as you don't have an evil stepmom, things are fine.
We only really see what it's like for how the upper crust lives. I mean, from a commoner's perspective, you're just hanging out, living your normal life until one day the king is like, hey, every single woman in the country, come over here and put on this shoe for my son. And you have to do it, because anyone who gives him news he doesn't like gets attacked by a sword.
Plus, they're pretty lax with their palace guards. Every single one of them stops to check out Cinderella's ass when she walks by. If the royal guard is doing that, that is definitely symptomatic of some institutionalized misogyny. I mean, it's royalty 101, folks. Lead by example.
As the only woman here, I just gotta say it wouldn't be great to live in a place where every once in a while the prince says, hey, put your foot in the shoe, and if it fits, we're married, no questions asked. But God forbid you have the same size foot as Cinderella and he just gets to you first. He's got no information, no added criteria, just if your foot fits in this shoe, you're mine. It's gross.
The town from Beauty and the Beast seems nice. Maybe a little provincial for Belle's taste, but I'm not Belle.
You're Cogsworth.
So I could like a provincial life. I mean, that just means baking, right? I get to be a baker?
Most stressful part of your day would be when the kooky inventor accidentally blows something up.
You're somehow forgetting the horrifying beast that is both in the title of the movie and the ruler of the village.
He goes back to being a guy at the end. It's fine. Quit judging him by his looks.
Yeah, I'll judge him by his multiple murders. His furniture used to be humans, remember? Assuming that he would be a good prince just because he's not furry anymore is like assuming that Martin Shkreli would be a good president if we shaved him.
Ew, gross. Even his eyebrows? Gross, Katie.
But look at how whimsical that town is. They start with a song every day. There are sheep around, kids jumping rope. It is delightful.
Delightful, Katie.
Delightful.
F***ing delightful as shit.
That's probably because without their monarch, they created some sort of representational government. Now that the ruling class is back, do you really think that they're gonna peacefully concede their power? That's the best case scenario. More likely, some other ruler came in, and even though he did a pretty good job, there's still gonna be a violent exchange of power. Can any of you guys name any time that the French have had a regime change that didn't involve beheadings?
Philip III died in a crusade, but your point is taken.
Yeah, that's the one I was gonna say too. We should both get credit for that.
Not to mention the most popular guy in the village is a misogynist creep who A, can't read, and B, uses a loaded gun to point out your sexy ass to all of his buddies.
All right, fine. I won't be a baker, Katie. You win again, Katie.
On the other hand, though, the Powhatan village from Pocahontas would be pretty sweet. I mean, the royalty hangs out with the commoners, everybody's in harmony with the animals, and there's a tree that listens to you when you talk about your dreams.
Let's hear all about it.
So you would choose to live in a Native American community in the 16th century?
Pretty big historical oversight you're making right now.
So why don't we take a cue from the movie and end our discussion on Pocahontas before the white settlers come back to commit someone interrupt me before
I like Lion King.
You'd be eaten.
No, I'd be an animal. Remember? I'd be a majestic bear.
There are no bears in the savannah.
With a magic sword.
Yeah, and you'd still be eaten. Remember that the ruling class are just a bunch of predators who literally eat their subjects for sustenance. Mufasa's circle of life is basically a modest proposal as policy. They eat their poor.
Yeah, well, I'd like to see him catch me on my rocket skates.
I don't think Michael thought ahead enough.
Oh, on the contrary, Katie. I thought plenty ahead. You see, Kay? I've always been 2 rocket steps ahead of you from the very beginning. Anyway, what about Emperor's New Groove?
Do you have a point you want to make about it?
No, I haven't seen it. I mean, like, what about it? Is it good?
Okay, he executes people for throwing off his groove.
You threw off my groove.
Stop making suggestions.
At least we can all agree that it would suck to live in the kingdom from Frozen. Anytime your teenage princess can't control her emotions, everyone who's outside of the castle freezes to death.
Women can't control their emotions, -Dan O'Brien.
Only teenage girls, -Daniel O'Brien. Wait. No. No. Oh, no.
So is that where we ended up? All kingdoms and queendoms suck?
No? There's still one totally awesome one, and it's the first one I mentioned. Prince Eric. His kingdom would be hella rad. When he gets married, he throws a sick party on a boat and everyone's invited.
He wasn't too into that gaudy statue they made in his likeness. But he also wasn't a dick about it. He cares about feelings. And he drove a boat into that sea witch.
And you know he could beat the fish. We've got technological superiority.
It's also the town we know the absolute least about.
Yeah, that's not by coincidence. If we knew anything more about it, we'd just ruin it. That's kind of our thing. Well, bye.
Hey, you hardly even touched your food.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil my appetite. I've got the banquet with the king of Reaching halt in the middle of my sentence, thinking of something else to say. My internal monologue is happening out loud.
Did you forget to invite us to another royal ball?
Your invitations are in the mail.
What do you mean the mail? You send all your invitations by Bluebird.
Your invitations were eaten by peregrine falcons.
I mean, there's no way he can know exactly what kind of falcons ate the... Can he?
Mine actually did come, but thanks to my training, I shot it with a BB gun. Never RSVP. Does the bird have to be alive for me to go? Like, do I have to return the live bird?
I don't think you can...
Falcon corpse back?
No, you can... You ate the falcon that ate your bird?
Hey, you like stand-up. Come see the Cracked Stand-Up Show. It's happening January 26th at Meltdown Comics in Los Angeles. If you want to see amazing comedians, including our own Teresa Lee, go to nerdmeltla.com/tickets. And if you want to see this brick wall all by itself, keep watching.